All right, we're glad to have y'all here tonight. Like always, we'll open up our meeting in a prayer and a pledge. So pray with me. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight. We ask that you bless us. We ask that you watch over us. And we ask that you watch over our city and our community. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all very much for coming tonight. We're here to discuss city business. And we have Jesse here. Jesse, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Jessie Owensby, and I am the Principal Consultant for Civic Enhancement Strategies. We are a consultant firm who works with communities and nonprofits on their strategic planning, leadership development, and other things like that, including zoning and real fun government stuff. If you have not signed in, please do so. We need to make sure that we have a record of everyone who comes. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to explain the process a little bit. We're going to take about 30 minutes, and in this first 30 minutes, you guys are going to have an open forum, meaning these are your city councilmen and your mayor and your city manager. Sorry, that's who you're stuck with. I'm just kidding. Jokes. And you have the opportunity in this next 30 minutes to ask them anything, tell them anything, praise them for anything, comment, suggestions, keep the criticism to a minimum, okay? And they are then going to also give you some feedback about some of the things that they have going on or what they are working on. Then after that, we're going to move into stations. So you'll be able to get up, walk around to the back of the room, and there are 4 different stations back there. There are strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's what we call a SWOT analysis. Every municipality and company really in the world does a SWOT analysis. But tonight, since you are the taxpayers, you are going to do the SWOT analysis for us, and then we are going to use what you say to create our strategic plan for the next 2 or 3 years, okay?
Jesse, what are some of the things we can write on those boards?
Yes, some of the things that you can write on the boards, I posed questions on each one, but when you go to strengths, we want you to write down the things that you absolutely love about Demorest. Tell us all the good things. Praise, 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 praise. I want that one to be completely full with all the things. Then under weaknesses, I want you to tell us what it is that we need to improve upon. What are the things that we're maybe not getting and we need to work on? I want that one to be very small, little to no feedback, right? Opportunities is going to be the things that maybe we need to capitalize on that we're not quite thinking about yet. So if you've got ideas or suggestions or why are we not doing A, B, and C, that's what you need to put on the opportunities. And then under threats, that's where you're going to write down the things that could really be a detriment to the city of Demorest if we don't address very soon. And then we have this map over here. Does everybody see this map? This map is incredibly important. It is our land use district map. It tells you all the colors of the rainbow, and it explains to you what zone each area is in. And then each zone has different allowed uses. For example, in commercial, you of course would put a restaurant or a retail boutique there. And then in residential, you would maybe put multifamily or single family. I want you to take these little stickers here that are attached to the board and put on that board areas of concern. things that if they are zoned a particular way and you don't think they should be, mark it with a little sticker. And the colors of the stickers don't matter, it's the color of the parcels that matters, okay? So if there's something that you think about that map that needs to change, mark it. What we're going to do with that is take that to that strategic planning meeting when we use that information and use that information in order to address our zoning ordinance and our minimum development standards and make sure that what you all think should be happening in the city is happening in the city. So if there's an area that's marked commercial, if there's an area that's marked commercial that you think that there should not be any more development there, mark it. And vice versa. If there's an area marked residential and you think that would be the prime location for a restaurant, mark it. And then we're going to take that information and make sure that everything is in alignment with each other when we create that plan. Okay? And if you have questions about that, they will answer them. I was going to say no. They. After our open forum, they will come down here and you can talk to them one-on-one and ask them whatever questions you may have one-on-one. If maybe you're a little quiet and you don't want to ask in front of everybody, you ask them one-on-one and then they'll tell me and I'll ask it for you. And then I'll point you out. And then, I'm just kidding. Right now is your opportunity. Say anything. And ready, set, go.
So it isn't allowed, so we have a microphone if you'd like to use it.
Because we do have it streaming, so we would like to make sure anybody that's listening can hear you.
Don't be shy.
Well, that's imposing. I'm just standing here minding my own business, and they hand me a microphone. Well, I'm the newbie around here. We're half Alaskans, half Georgians, and I think Demorest does a really nice job. You guys do it's a great little place to be. I'm almost ready to become a full-time Georgian, but not for a little while. The skiing down here is lousy, but other than that, although a couple weeks ago it wasn't all that bad. I don't have a whole lot of comments other than it's always good to have a plan. I've been doing things my whole life, and I hate going into a project without a plan. And the worst thing to do is march off down some road and not know where you're trying to get to. And I think that's an important thing about meetings like this, is it gives everybody an opportunity to say what they want and what they don't want. I think Demorest is a unique place. I mean, we're wedged in this little spot between Cornelia and Clarksville. Clarksville has everything, Cornelia has everything, and then we have this wonderful little spot of Demorest in the middle. And I think it's lovely down here. And but there's always room for improvement. And I think knowing where we're going, having everybody some input, we all want commerce and convenience, but we all want peace and serenity. And that's always the balance on any environment. So keep at it and keep talking. And that's my suggestion.
Thanks for your work. I'm glad I handed that microphone.
I'm not so sure I'm ready to have him full-time yet.
She makes me go back to Alaska.
Periodically.
She doesn't make me want, does she? She makes me want.
I have to say that I also, after 10 years in Demorest, I am clearly aware of how amazing a community we have. And perhaps my major concern is that we lose that by just overbuilding it. We're already in a crazy traffic situation, 441. And I suppose that I would hate to see what Demorest is best at, which is community, become Gainesville. We don't want that, anything but that. And I recognize that we don't have a means of getting revenue unless we find some way to get revenue. So there's a balance there that I'm hoping we will be able to balance. I guess balance is what I'm hoping for, because we just have too much that everybody else wants. And if we don't price that or make it valuable to them, we're going to end up paying for things that we don't need to pay for, because you develop without making the developers pay for what they're getting. They have to know that this is a valuable thing. And that's my major concern. I don't want the developers to come here, take what they want, and then we have to figure out how to get that sewer system, figure out how to get the traffic figured out, figure out how to make the school district work. That is something that they should have to pay for, because we have what they're looking for. Does that make sense? Hope?
Ma'am, I will tell you, one thing that Demorest has not had, probably a rezoning or an annexation in 10 to 15 years, okay? The few builders that are here are building on existing lots.
Yeah, that's true.
Or out in Sweetgrass, or back here on another subdivision that dates back to '07. And so I think this council and mayor has heard the public say that, to keep it the way it is. And Jimmy and I discussed today growth and the tax digest just very today on that topic. And so this council has heard and understands that.
Can you make sure everybody state their name and address?
Okay. Thank you.
So when it's time to break into stations, you're gonna wanna pay attention to that zoning map over there, okay?
My wife and I,
Please serve your answer.
yes, I'm going to. My wife and I, Richard and Tracy Markey, and we are in unincorporated Demorest, or essentially off of Cannon Bridge Road. And we've been in Demorest for about 20 years, and we are concerned about the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And just to springboard what the first couple stated, essentially, we were just concerned that Demorest would not be, to cite an example, like Flowery Branch in Hall County. Based upon what I've just read and seen, it seems as if Flowery Branch has grown too quickly, and the sewer system, water system, roads have all suffered. Not saying that Demorest would ever get to be like that, but I was just trying to come this evening and just try to listen more than anything else. I think it's important to provide input, but also, secondly, it's also important to listen to not only the leaders of Demorest, but also the citizens as well. And we thank you for your time and service for this community. Again, springboarding, the parades, the new restaurants, the new leadership at Piedmont University, I believe it's called now. Everything is very warm and inviting. And, you know, we are very fortunate to be able to live in this community. And the only other thing that I just wanted to say is that it's nice to live in a community where there's practically no crime. You know, you can keep your doors unlocked and feel secure and everything else. So we just thank you for this opportunity this evening to voice our concerns as well as to hear what's going to happen down the road. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name's Frank Dean, and I live at 709 Main Street, which is over close to where the bridge used to be. One thing that I would like to see is not to have multi-housing come in. I feel like our area is more or less like a historical district. I know there'll be some changes, but I think we need to control that.
Mr. Dane, let me ask you the definition of multifamily. Is that 2 townhomes, or is that more than 3 units? What's your definition of that? Or is it just apartments? A bunch of apartments, so to speak?
No apartments, townhomes, perhaps. But other than that, I want to see private homes.
So you want to see You want to see single family.
Single family, correct.
Homes or homes be owner.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's how we were leaning with some of our conversations with that.
Well, we appreciate y'all's service. That's, y'all's job is not an easy job. People have asked me several times to be mayor or run for mayor, and I tell them, I got enough enemies now, so I don't need any more. So y'all got a tough job, you and the council. But we do appreciate what you do.
Frank, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's a new trend. It's called single-family rental communities. They are subdivisions or just smaller neighborhoods that are single-family homes, but they're all rentals. They're all owned by one person who rents them out as long-term rentals. Is that something that you're okay with, or is that something you want me to put on the no-no list?
Is that one person on all the homes or the,
Yes.
no, I would not want that.
Okay.
One person is student. No, it's not.
You don't have anything to say?
And you don't have to speak. We're just microphones just in case. Don't feel like you have to.
I'm Nancy Hendricks, and I live at 720 Main Street. And I don't have a lot of concerns. We've lived here for 40 years, and we like it being here, so I appreciate what you've done with it. The one thing I regret is the lake being drained. I would like to have a bridge where the bridge was for walking to the park. We're kind of cut off from that, and we have to walk a long way around to get to the park, but that's just for me. Is that an amen? Okay. That's an amen.
So that may be something that everybody in the room who amens that can put on the opportunities list when it's time to break it down.
And the little street, Arlington Street, you can't pass a car on that street without going off into the ditch, and that is a concern. I don't use that street much, but the college, I think, uses it a lot. The college kids use it a lot to get from those apartments on the other side of Demorest Mount Airy Highway through over there. I walk that street, so I see them coming through there. And that's a concern of mine, that we can't have, two-way traffic on that two-way traffic street.
Hi, I am Daryl, and this is my wife, Twyla Yoder. We live at 704 Main Street, so you've got the whole Main Street crew down here. We just want to say we're new. We've been here since May. We love this town. We fell in love with it as soon as we came, and we love the small town. We came from Lilburn, down close outside of Atlanta, and it was time for us to get out of Gwinnett and all that. We love it up here. So you all have been doing a great job at keeping this small town and making it feel like a small town, and we appreciate that, and we would like to see it stay that way. We like the historic nature of things. We walk around town and we see all the old buildings, the older houses and stuff, and some are in decay. We'd like to see those get fixed and brought up a little bit, but maintain that historical aspect would be wonderful. Of course, we live in an old house too, and we appreciate the old houses. But no, I can't think of anything else really want to say. We would echo a lot of the concerns with Arlington. Would be nice to have a pedestrian bridge across at the same spot where the dam used to be. That would be nice. And I think Frank and I were talking earlier. There's at the end where Arlington meets Demorest Mount Airy, it's really dark there at that corner. And if you're coming down through there, down the hill at night, kind of hard to see where to make that turn. Be kind of nice if there could be like a street light or something put at that corner, so you can see where to make that turn a little bit better.
Casey, do you understand where he just said that? You have somebody tonight make some assessments in that, please, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that it is really hard if you're coming down the hill Just turning in there, it's hard to see this.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, damn. That's the first time Jim Welborn has nothing to say.
Are you done?
I'm Patty Davis, I live at 150 Connecticut Street, and just, Jim and I are on the DDA, and we all put in opportunities, restaurants that you like to see in the city.
Patty, I'm sorry, I think that microphone must have died on you. See if somebody clipped it.
Battery's dead.
You don't get to say it again?
Maybe stand up and talk a little louder, because if it's dead.
It's okay now.
Okay, you can have it now.
Got it. Okay. Hey, I'm Patty Davis. I live at 150 Connecticut Street. And Jim and I are on the DDA for Demorest, and we'd appreciate it if you wrote down what restaurants you'd like to see coming into the downtown area.
Patty, would you like types or price points or both?
And Patty, where do you live? I'm Jim Welborn. I am chair of the DDA, and Patty is our assistant chair on the DDA. And these are things that we're talking about right now. We're wanting to kind of breathe some new life into the DDA. We want to kind of reinvigorate it. And we have a lot of things that we've put on the table here. I've only stepped into this role about a month ago, but we are trying to push a lot of things that can help with our growth of our economy here. One thing that we've known for a long time, I've lived in Demorest for 30 years, and I grew up in Cornelia. So right next door. So I've been here for a long time. Demorest, I believe, is still 2.2 square miles. Is that right? Or have we brought something in to grow a little?
We haven't had annexation in
2.2, yeah. So we're kind of landlocked here. There's a lot of stuff built here, and there's not room really to build much of anything else. So a lot of what you have to do and what the DDA ends up doing is looking at old buildings and how to repurpose those. So can we bring a retail store in? Can we bring another restaurant in? And we have to look at all those things and try to consider it. But joining together like this really helps us to get a better idea what y'all want to see. Because this is our town. It's not our town. Okay.
So what we do, what they do, we're all brought in to represent everybody, not represent ourselves. So we need to hear from you guys. So I did some restaurants, what kind you like to have. I don't know what she just said, price point, but it's very, one thing we've been hearing a lot of is the old country cooking restaurants. We have a lot of those throughout the county, in Clarksville, and most of those are gone. There's only one or two that I can think of now, but a lot of big licenses. So if we can just start getting input about those kind of things, what we like, what style of food. And again, we don't have a lot of buildings to work with, but we will look at the target and see what we can do about bringing that to fruition. And Jim, if I can add for folks to understand what all we have going on right now. Obviously, there's 24,000 square feet in this school building here. We only occupy right now this room and the end down there. What I call the west wing, which is the far side going toward the gym. We have been negotiating with the United States Post Office 18 months, and we're about this far in getting to where we can get some documents on paper now. They had signed a 30-year lease back in 1994 for 30 years, paying about $1,200–$1,400 a month. So they got a great deal down there. And we have proposed for them to move up to this building. Again, this really is the back of the building, but for purposes, this is that side over there is the back, but it's going to become the front.
Use your mic.
The mayor or council decides. And with that being said, we're having to consider to build a parking lot in that front section so that it can service both wings going out. And we're in that, and the post office would take the west wing here. There's 3 classrooms that front on that side. They would take those 3 and the very end classroom that fronts on the back for that to be their loading dock. The biggest issue is the money for the cost of the parking lot, possibility of having to remove trees, especially those 250-year-old trees. But if you don't remove them, you're not getting a parking lot. If we don't get a parking lot, the post office will stay down there. If you want additional restaurants, the post office has to move. And Jamie has first right, who owns Holden Oversoul, for that space. And so I've got to have a couple dominoes fall. And we're moving in that direction to gather all the information from mayor and council to decide on the parking lot, which then the parking lot is approved. We then can move forward with the post office because the parking lot has to come first. It's the chicken and the egg kind of deal there. So we would be looking then to look to see if Jamie wants the whole building, half a building, any part of the building. And if not, we would be looking for that space to become a restaurant. And it was just luck we found Jamie because, I mean, I had Mexican restaurants, I had A.G. Edwards, I had all kind of stores fronts that wanted to come in there. And we knew that we wanted a restaurant. And luckily, Jamie was ready to get back into it. And what a tremendous restaurant he has. So that's where we are with this building, because this building also, as what Jim says, has this 3,900 square foot kitchen out the side over here in cafeteria. We have worked with a few folks to see if they could not have road frontage and make it on this backside. So I've got 1 or 2 folks I'm talking to. Jerry's had 1 or 2 that he's talked to. So that is a plan to have a restaurant back here. But then again, I got to have more parking than just this right here. It gives me a lot of limitations with the parking. So there's good things on the plans, on the horizon from continuing what y'all are saying. Thank you.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a whole lot of land out here.
Plan something for that? I mean, you want parking. I just want the fence to stay down and it look like it belongs to the people instead
That's
of.
what we're talking about.
Okay, there's a lot of room out there.
We've got 10 acres total on this campus, being the ball field, the scout hut, the woods, which is right behind the ball field. We've talked about making that a dog park. It hasn't been officially designated as
That's the
that.
one across the road.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm talking about the one by 441.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about for.
Okay, yeah, it's,
Yes,
ma'am.
it's that way.
okay, that one,
Yes, ma'am.
that one. And that's going to be a parking lot?
Could be, it's up to these gentlemen.
Because it seems to me that those trees are a plus, not a negative.
So
If
I
you can
think-
park around those trees.
I think all of us feel real strongly about this.
You know, my house I bought for a tree, so what can I say?
I think all of us feel really strongly about those trees, and Mark recently had an arborist come out and core those trees, and those trees do not have very much more life left in them.
And the other part is, you've got what's called a drip line. Go to the end of the circle of where those tree limbs are. That means don't get inside there. Guess how much land I have? I have this much land. Because he's promised me I will spend more money trying to save them, and then how much I'm going to spend trying to get them down. So it is a real point for these 5 gentlemen. It's going to have to be made. There'll be a lot of emotions.
I and several of the people here played underneath those trees as an elementary school student. Those trees mean a lot to me as well. I mean, they've been here 150 years. I have not. I know some days I look like I have, but you know, they are a big deal. And we would never, I want you to know, Donnie Bennett would never, and neither would these guys, take that type of responsibility lightly.
they cons or oaks or
They're oaks.
they're oaks?
And I want y'all to know, I'm not here saying take them down. I'm here to gather the information of the facts with the engineering plans of a sketch parking to see what we can have with and without.
Which will include new trees.
We would have a landscaping plan, and it is staked out there if y'all want to just one day come over and walk it. Not the exact location, but pretty close. And you can get the idea of that because there's plenty of places to put trees, because stormwater is going to be a big deal, because that whole thing is just going to sheet all the way down to 441 right there. We have places to have what's called like a water table where you have the shrubs and plants and it goes down underneath. We have other items of doing some pavers, which cost more, and to make it where it is pervious. So there's a lot of options, but stormwater is a major factor in that, because we got about a 3-foot fall from the front, what in essence would be the front door going toward the highway.
Is that it, everybody? Okay, so just to reiterate, you're gonna go to every station, mark what you think needs to change on the map, and then don't feel like you can only put one thing on each thing. You can put as many things as you can think of on each thing, except for that weakness. That's plenty. No, honestly, go and put what you want on everything as much as you want. Because you all are the taxpayers. You all are the ones who we work for. And you all are the ones who need to be helping us create the plan for what we're going to do in the future, right? They are just your spokespeople. They are just the ones who speak for you. You are the one in charge. So make sure you're thinking of that when you're going back there and you can't think of anything. Think of something. Okay?
Hang on before you move
Yes. Okay.
I've got 2 announcements. Starting on Thursday, the 13th at 5:30 in this room, we have House Bill 581 that we will be discussing. And we have 2 other city managers in here, being Keith Dickerson from Clarksville, who lives in Sweetgrass, and then Emily from Baldwin, and then a city council member, Alice from Baldwin, sitting in here also. Because Emily found out that she does reside in the city limits of Denver. She just thought she was on the Cornelia side. And so she doesn't know that. So there you go. So we've got that meeting in here this Thursday. The next Thursday, the 20th, we've got 2 meetings on that same House Bill 581, which will be at noon and then at 6 o'clock. It's a lot of information. Please take a moment. Yes, ma'am.
581 is?
It's a tax. It is. Yes, ma'am. The one that everybody voted on. So please look at it. Please tell me questions. And that meeting is on Thursday and Thursday.
Okay. Since we're all sitting here, gentlemen, we're going to go back down. Don't leave. Please fill these out. Can we go ahead and adjourn the meeting here for formalities?
Hold on just one second. One last thing. There is a survey on the Facebook page, and I believe it's on the website as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It is a survey that we would love for every Demorest resident to take. We've
For
got
non-residents.
or non-resident taxpayer. Every Demorest taxpayer. If you would like to take that survey, we would love to have your input. It is much more detailed than this is, and it gives you the ability to actually say how old you are, give us some statistics to work with, and that way when we take all of this information and we couple it with the information that we got from the last town hall meeting, and then we will aggregate that data and compare it to the survey results. And then we will have our strategic planning meeting and go over all of that data to make sure that every voice that has wanted to be heard was heard. And that way we can create our plan based on what everybody says. And then giving us that demographic data will also make sure that we're catering to the people who live here and what the people who live here want, okay? So make sure that you are very thoughtful about what you say, and if you have not taken that survey, please be sure to do so, and please be sure to tell your neighbors, friends, choir, church, schoolhouse, principals, dogs, if they can do it, cool, we'll take it. And then otherwise, now you can adjourn.
All right, for the formality, council, do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All right, all those in favor? All right, to the boards.
To the boards. If you have any questions, they will answer them.
Somebody else.
Sorry.